Reminiscing a little bit about my days in Nam. That's why I'm always in such a good mood, because there was a time in my life when I didn't think I'd see another sunrise or hear the laugh of a pretty girl. Yep. The name on my uniform said Sgt Fury, but every new... wait a minute. Oh, God. How do you do this again? What? How long have I been doing this? 13 years? Okay. The name on my uniform said Greaseman, but everybody knew me as Sgt Fury. Quang Tree, 1967. My men and I were on what we called search and destroy. We'd move into suspected Kong-held villages and wipe them out. Come on! Five-ish, Watson, Kalachecki, Wasniewski, Robinson! Boom, 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 boom! Defoliate, defoliate! Everybody down! Fire in the hole! Villagers were running around saying, I said, shut up, Lang Ching. That's what you get for feeding Kong, huh? We'll blow your patty sky high. Yeah. Well, we went up to this one hut. The last hut left. Oh, don't you to warn me when you blow those ones, Newski. We went to the last hut in the place. I said, all right, Fibish, you go in high, I'll go in low. So I swept around, and for some reason I held my finger on that trigger, that Uzi. And it was a good thing I did, because when I looked inside, there was a little baby in there just going... His little mama was dead. His daddy was dead. That little baby, amidst all that destruction and ruin, didn't have a soul in the world, except for me. I said, Fibish, you move out, forget what you saw. And I picked up that little baby in my arms. I had done so much killing. I had done so much destruction that I wanted that baby more than anything I wanted in my whole life. I decided that I was going to keep the baby. I was going to be a good daddy to it. I snuck it in my knapsack. I didn't let any of the guys see that I had the baby. How did I camouflage it? Well, when we were on patrol, I hate to admit it, but I gave the baby some booze from my ration cans, and the baby was drunk half the time, didn't make any sounds, it just slept. And then at night, when all the other guys were out, I'd take my baby out of that knapsack and cradle it in my arms. Rock my baby, oh, doggy. I found my darling here in Quang Tree. Well, one day, we'd stopped for a briefing from company headquarters. Their chopper landed in the middle of a field, and so the baby wouldn't bake in the hot sun. I took off my knapsack and I laid it against the tree in the shade, and then I went back to the briefing table, and we were talking about our upcoming offensives and the Tet Offensive, and we were talking when suddenly, in the midst of our conference, I heard a sound that made my blood run cold. I jumped up and screamed, "Incoming!" Full of real estate, establish perimeters! Watch it! Flank 'em, incoming! Well, the battle raged for an hour, but finally we managed to contain the enemy. And as I brushed the mud off my uniform, I dreaded what I might find under the tree where I left my knapsack. I was almost afraid to look. I just stood there, rigid, clenching my fists, frozen in a post-battle trance, when Wasniewski came running up to me and said, "Sarge!" I said, "What is it, Wasniewski?" He said, "Sarge, that knapsack you put under the tree?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "It took a direct hit." I said, "Oh, my God." He said, "Don't cry, Sarge. I looked inside. That hamburger you had in there still looks edible." Oh, no!